Hey guys, so because I clearly hate myself, I'm doing a reaction video to, I guess this is a Breakfast with Brandon video. I don't even know what Breakfast with Brandon is. To be honest, really what happened is I saw a clip where this is Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum. He goes by Officer Tatum because he used to be a cop. And he had some video where he's talking to some people about why he doesn't listen to hip hop anymore. It's only like a minute long. And I was looking for that, but actually I found this. So I've never even heard of Breakfast with Brandon. I mean, legit, I'm watching this for the first time. I have some things I'm going to say, but it's really in preparation to what he mentioned in the other video. So I know in this one is the title of this video is called The Danger of Rap Music. So before I start this, I just want to say this. There are people who are really into rap music, and rap is just one of the many types of music I listen to. Like, there are people who are real hip hop heads. They can tell you the history, they can tell you details about the culture. And honestly, I'm not one of them. I'm probably more familiar with it than, the average person, because of the time I grew up in. I was, I was born right at the time hip hop came to the stage. I wasn't cognitive to see the early history of it, but I was just barely old enough to remember like Grandmaster Flash and Eric B. and Rakim. But the other element of that is that I grew up in an area which was in the South, kind of a smaller town in the South and majority white. So I was exposed to just as much hair metal and country as I was hip hop, to be honest. Also, I'm kind of using the term hip hop and rap interchangeably, and they're not. And I think that's probably something that's going to come up in this video. Hip hop refers to kind of a culture, an aesthetic. Rap is an element of music within hip hop. Think of it like you have movements, right? Harlem Renaissance, the beat movement. Like, I guess that'd be a good example. You had the beat movement. Maybe I'm using an example which is really out of date, but an element of that beat movement was the poetry of Ginsberg and Kerouac, but also the music. Jazz music was also a component of it. So hip hop and rap is kind of interchanged a lot, but really, hip hop is referring to not just the music, but also clothing and style, even arguably a philosophy, an aesthetic, all that. So anyway, let me transition to this. All right, let's start this up.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Brandon. So today, our topic is going to be related to a cultural issue that I think is misrepresented. And maybe some people don't understand the totality of the effect of it, but I'm gonna address that right here. So the topic is gonna be about rap music, explicitly the gangster rap music, the rap music that's infiltrated with cursing, drug dealing, the degradation.
All right, so I'm doing a reaction video, so I'm gonna react. So what he's basically choosing to do is to talk about a specific genre of rap music, one of the more subversive genres of rap music. Rap music's like any other, I shouldn't say genre, but subcategory of rap music, because rap is like any other genre of music. For example, like I mentioned, rock. So when you talk about rock, people who listen to rock and people who don't really listen to rock, would you really put, let's say, I don't know, Guns N' Roses in the same category as, I want to say Pete Seeger. The folk musician who did rock. Would you put, Warrant in the same category as Bob Dylan? Would you put Pantera in the same category as Nickelback? You guys get the idea, right? So we know that when we talk about rock, you got all different types of rock. And some are more subversive and more raunchy and counterculture than others. But what he's doing, he's going to specifically talk about a style of, not a style, but a subcategory of rap. And I want to see how much does he talk about the other types of rap music, nerdcore, conscientious rap, experimental rap. Like, how much is he going to talk about that? Well, let's find out.
Of women, you name it. You know, I think that culture, that hip hop culture, has definitely.
You see what he did there? That hip hop culture. So basically, and this is the thing about the hip hop culture. Hip hop is a style, is a philosophy, is an aesthetic, which it's not exclusively black, but it was developed by blacks. It's one of the few styles that has stayed pretty much. I'll say the taste as Russell Simmons said at one point. It's like the majority of rap music is listened to by white audiences, but the tastemakers, the people who decide what's cool, for the most part, are black. So he's doing something here, and I'll actually address it in the end. But he's already doing that thing where he's conflating hip hop and rap, and that's intentional. So that's intentional. So when you're sitting there saying hip hop and rap, basically like the nerdy, awkward kid who may have been into fashion. I need to let the man talk, but I'll let him talk. I'll say something. Let him continue. But he's already conflating the two.
Influenced our young people, and it has been a true detriment to society. And I'm not just saying this because it's something I read in a book. I'm saying this because I have personal knowledge of it.
First of all, he ain't read shit in the book, because let's be honest, this fool ain't reading any books. Okay, I could be wrong. Look, if you say you're reading books, then prove me wrong, dude. I'll be like Steven Crowder. Prove me wrong. He ain't reading no books. And by the way, that's the only time you'll ever hear me compare myself to Steven Crowder.
I have personal experiences that have gotten me to this conclusion of believing this is not good for our children, and hip hop music is killing us, literally.
So he's doing anecdotes from it. All right, I'll continue, whatever.
I'm not even saying, no pun intended, literally, hip hop music is influencing young people to kill each other, young people to treat women with disrespect, young people to act outside of character and to be enraged and to hate other people. This is exactly what's happening to young people. So I'm explaining in a few different topics. So the first topic is just my own personal experience. You know, I grew up listening to rap music. Almost every single genre that I listened to had something to do with rap, had something to do with explicit gangster rap. And it influenced and it impacted my mind. So much so, to believe it or not, people don't even believe me when I say this. This is a part of my testimony, is that I used to sag my pants. I had gold teeth in my mouth, and I got Young Savage tattooed on my stomach right here. It's because of the mindset and
Okay, so what he's doing here, this is similar to the thing that Ben Carson, Ben Carson, if you guys don't remember, the neurosurgeon, retired neurosurgeon, the once presidential hopeful, I think he served, it's funny because he's a neurosurgeon, he's a medical doctor, neurosurgeon, but he served in, I think it was Donald Trump's cabinet, in housing and urban development. So even though he had a medical degree, he was actually like he was a secretary of projects. And yeah, it put the black man in charge of projects. And he didn't even believe in the mission of urban development. I'm going on a tangent though. Ben Carson had this story where he was saying, when I was young, I was wild, and I act all this way, and then I found white Jesus. He may not sound white Jesus, but it's kind of, and he has this story like, I almost murdered a man, but the thing that protected him was he had this big belt buckle, and when I tried to stab him. And Ben Carson is either from, I wish I knew where Ben Carson from, because I think he's like from, at the time anyway, I want to say it was like either Detroit or Chicago, and he's talking about some dude with a big belt buckle. And the thing is, people account and say that Ben Carson growing up was like very studious, kind of quiet and to himself. Now, honestly, I'd be more likely to believe Brandon Tatum with his story, because first of all, he's got tattoos, he can prove it. But the way you can see one on his wrist, but the way he interacts with people when they're black progressives, the way he yells at them, the way he'll, the way he's confrontational with them, I would not be surprised to find out that this is true, because he's kind of a bully, and honestly, I'm kind of glad he's no longer. The best thing about him doing this conservative grift now is that he's no longer a cop, and he can't shoot people with impunity. But here we go.
And the culture of hip hop music had me thinking that this was the appropriate way to dress. This was the appropriate way to act. This was my role model. And in today's society, we have accepted it. Another aspect of hip hop music, the rap culture, gangster rap, that I think we're avoiding to address. For instance, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So the President of the United States made a statement that many people will believe was derogatory towards women, that it was inappropriate. I don't think anybody who heard that would think anything different. And America was outraged. America was upset about that. And America voiced their opinion about thinking that that was wrong. And
I guess he's talking about when Donald Trump said something about how you can grab women by the genitals and you can do that because you're a celebrity, but he didn't say genitals. I'm guessing I don't know when this video was being made, but I'm guessing that's what he's talking about. Yeah, and by the way, Donald Trump is a misogynist, and he's probably an arpist. I'm going to be a little bit more careful try to be more careful with the words I use in these videos, because but he's an arpist. You guys know what I mean by arpist. He's an arpist.
The President of the United States apologized for it, which I accept his apology. But this is the thing that I feel like that there's no apology in hip hop music. Every song, every lyric, 90% of the rappers are saying things that are.
Okay, so, oh God, this is so, I'm trying not to, this guy's this message, by the way, isn't for black audiences. This is basically confirming. He's one of these people. This is what I made a video talking about, the difference between black conservatives and conservative blacks, and how I said how people like Michael Stilick is a conservative black, how a lot of like black leaders in the past have been conservative black, and there's black conservatives, and he's a black conservative. And the thing about black conservatives is their message really isn't for black people. And I know, like, I made that video and some people push back against that. It's not for black people. He's basically kind of signaling to and I'm not going to say a white audience, because there's a lot of white people. One, there's a lot of white people who are going to call cap on this and call bulljive. And the other thing is there are blacks who have an audience. There is this kind of a respectability element within communities of color, but. Okay, first let's get so many things with this. Notice how he keeps saying, I don't know how many times I can do this, guys. He keeps saying hip hop, and for you people out there who don't listen to hip hop or rap at all, trust me when I say this. I'm not saying fringe things. Two elements with this. Hip hop has always been a subversive rap form. But it was often a subversive rap form because it was anti-establishment. Now, being anti-establishment doesn't necessarily mean you're being misogynistic. The reason I say it was anti-establishment because it may have been anti-capitalist. It may have called out the government. It may have brought issues about crime. White Lines by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Arts, he's talking about the effect of cocaine and drugs in the community, because Grandmaster Flash was a drug addict. He's talking about this thing is damaging. The message, he's calling out the conditions of the ghetto. That's what's going on. That's what this music was. But a lot of times, like a lot of times it was just kind of fun, silly, whatever. And the other thing too, as far as calling out rap music itself, even other rappers call out the more kind of misogynistic forms of hip hop. I'm not even talking about fringe. Common, with her, you guys may not remember this great hip hop beefs, or rap beefs, was Common's Her, where he basically compares, he kind of has a story within his song where he's talking about how he, as a kid, he fell in love with rap, and how kind of rap took this direction, but he uses the metaphor of it being a woman he's in love with. So, I guess he's saying like, I saw this and I saw that and then I became this way. I'm like, my dude, you could have very well been listening to like De La Soul, or you could have been very well listening to A Tribe Called Quest, and you could have went full Hotep and eating like Flavor Dirt. You went this way because that was you. Now, I'm kind of jumping ahead of things. Maybe I should just let the man finish because I hate to keep interrupting him but I'm also afraid I'm going to lose my thoughts. But hope I remember this. There's a reason why. There's 2 points I want to say, and then there's a reason why you will see a certain element of people listening to a certain type of hip hop music, and I'll say that at the end, kind of from my personal experience. And the other thing is simply this, guys. The reason the more misogynistic and violent forms of hip hop became popular is because of the audience. And the majority of the people who listen to hip hop are white kids. It's actually mostly white kids from upper middle class to middle class to upper class communities. Like, think about it every time how you will have, or if it's not just white kids, but kids from the suburbs who aren't necessarily black, right? Think about Vivek Ramaswamy sitting there trying to rap all the time. Think about how, if you'll have these conservative, or think about Farmer Bro, that guy, Martin Scarelli, he's a fan of Wu-Tang Clan. The numbers go, Russell Simmons said 80% of the music, it's disputed. I saw a study from 2014 that says 60%. I've seen one that goes as far as 80+%. But if you look at the audience of hip hop shows, this was actually, I did find this number, and I will put the article I'm referencing there. Or actually, I don't think it's an article. Actually, I think I did that research using artificial intelligence. Is that even though it couldn't be confirmed that the majority of that the number was 80% of white audience, we do know there was a study, like I said, from about 10 years ago that showed it was at least 60% or greater. But the majority of people who were in the audiences were women. I'll let him go. I'm gonna. Okay.
Even or what the president said, and worse, with no apology. And they're not saying it 11 years ago. They're saying it.
So this is, oh God, I keep interrupting myself. This is kind of like what does Ja think? I don't know if y'all remember that Chappelle joke where he's like, can we please bring Ja into this discussion? So he's basically comparing what Too Short, it's like, here's the thing, guys. Too Short said something, and Donald Trump, Freudian slip. Too Short said something, and Donald Trump said something. I don't know. They have the same equal weight, man. I once heard Lil Kim say, I've seen a lot of faces, been a lot of places. I even fuck with different races. It was more weight than Donald Trump. See, I said I was going to watch my language. I done already slipped. Quoting Lil Kim. I did like Lil Kim back in the day, though. I did. Let me tell you something. The Booty Call soundtrack, it was a good soundtrack. Booty Call soundtrack was a good soundtrack. All right, keep going.
Currently, today, your kids who listen to rap are listening to him say, these rappers say the same thing that you were outraged about the president saying, times 20. And we don't talk about those things.
In a discussion about rap music, this Negro has managed to defend Donald Trump talking about he grabbing women by the hoo-hoo. This junk is crazy. I hope they're paying this brother well with that shirt. The shirt does look good on him though. The shirt, I was gonna crack on this shirt, but I don't know. I really do think the shirt looks good on him. And that room looks very comfortable. That whole room looks very soothing. Okay. All right.
We're not outraged about those things, which is troubling to me, because we should be identifying this language that's being used. We should be identifying this culture that's infiltrating our society, and not just be outraged when one person say it, but be outraged at a culture that has way more influence.
This is what I can tell. I start getting upset because I start doing basically stimming. I start rocking back and forth and moving. I need to just That's like the indie traits start sticking out or coming out. Okay, I'm gonna stop rock it back. If I'm good, I'm good. That wasn't intentional. I'm going to stop. I may be rubbing my leg like this though. So if I'm doing that, that's what I'm doing. That's me. I may have to. This is so pitiful. I may just. Well, that's going to make a sound. Let me get this instead. Okay. Hopefully that's not loud or anything. I may be doing this. Okay.
Way more people listen to hip hop music than would ever listen to the president of the United States. Period. It just will never happen. So there's another misconception.
What does John think?
Is that the effect, right? Some people will say, "Oh, rap music is just music, right? It don't really affect. It's just people saying stuff. It don't affect me." But I'm gonna tell you this, and this is like I said, this is from my own personal experience. When you live in Beverly Hills, rap music don't affect you, right? When you live in a gated community or you live in somewhere above the poverty line, you live in middle class America or you live in the upper echelons of America, what they say in these rap songs don't resonate with you. It sound good, it's cute, it's got a good beat, it's cool, it's trendy to you. When you live in the hood, this is like the gospel.
Guys, I'm gonna tell you something. Too Short and Lil Kim and whoever, they never sounded cute. Lil Kim never sounded cute to me. I'm using her as an example because that's who was around when I was a teenager. I would never be like, "Ooh, Lil Kim sounds cute." I didn't live in a gated community either. I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you my experience a little bit. I need to let this man finish. Let this dude do his thing. Hold up. Okay.
You are seeing this rap music play out in front of you every day. You are seeing, degrading women as a topic of discussion in almost any environment when you live in the hood. You are almost considered a coward if you don't treat women or act the way these rappers are acting. If you're not speaking the lingo that rappers are speaking, you are nobody. And it affects people every day in these communities, especially in low-income communities. When rappers mention selling dope, sitting on the corner, doing time in prison, you better not snitch. Those things are a reality.
Okay, so another thing he's doing here is that he's acknowledging these problems that neighborhoods have, but instead of like saying, look, they can be systematic things. Because why is it that you can have all of these middle class, upper middle class, well-to-do, majority white and white kids, and I keep saying white kids, but middle class kids who live in these affluent neighborhoods, and they're not listening to rap music and shooting up places. Like seriously, like why is it? Like, why is that he's saying it? Because if he's just saying it's the music, so you'd almost think that maybe the people making the music are just telling the story of what they're experiencing. You would almost think that. Or are they just so soft-brained that kids who go to prep schools can fight the urge or just think beyond it, but kids who grow up in these other neighborhoods are just like zombies who will follow whatever. And the other thing, a lot of the comment about, no snitching. Yeah, man, the reason I do think there's at the end of the day, you don't want to have a community where people can do things and commit crimes and commit violent crimes and not have to face punishment. But maybe if you didn't have the cops go into the community and terrorize and do all these things, when you look at them, you're like, look, I don't like so-and-so who's a violent offender, but the thing is that I like the cops even less, and there's a reason for that. And if you don't understand the reason for that, then we've been telling you this for years. And when I say we, I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about hell, even poor white people can take. Until recently, by the way, white people who lived in rural, not just rural, but lived in poor areas, they didn't like the cops either. They actually, like poor white conservatives didn't start liking the cops until it became a counterpoint against things like Black Lives Matter. But I'm going to continue. For a large number of people. Oh, and if you don't agree with that, think about the Dukes of Hazzard. Because by the way, guys, the Dukes of Hazzard, that was kind of inspired by the idea of bootleg runners. I think they were bootleg runners. And what were they constantly doing? This some good old boys, never meaning no harm, making their way against always fighting the law. Yeah.
It's almost like that is their influence. When you grow up without a father, that is your role model. Young Jeezy, these rappers who are continuously talk about drugs, talk about crime, talk about jail time, talk about glorification of spending time in prison. Like, that becomes your role model, man. And I think that we need to start addressing this, and we need to do it now. Am I saying that we need to get rid of rap music? It's impossible. That's impossible to do. But what I'm saying is that if you care about your children, if you care about what goes into their ear gates and eye gates, you care about what goes into them, which will then proceed out of them at some point in time, then you need to watch what they listen to. You need to really call out hip hop music for what it is and stop beating around the bush. Hey, thank you guys for watching Breakfast with Brandon today. I hope you enjoyed the topic.
Hey guys, so I'm recording this at a later time. It's just that two things were going on. One, the autofocus was on, so the image kept getting blurry and whatever. And you could see it was doing a little bit of that in the beginning of the video. And the second thing is I was just kind of, I was rambling a bit. So I just want to conclude with this and with a point. So like I mentioned earlier, I grew up listening to all types of music. Primarily, I would say in my youth, it was largely hip hop and honestly adult contemporary and R&B. And then as I got older, I'd say I started appreciating other genres of music and even started listening to more country. I grew up hearing country, grew up hearing like classic country, Hank Williams Sr., Conway Twitty. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Kenny Rogers and Willie Nelson. I grew up hearing these. But in my late teens, early 20s, I became a big fan of Johnny Cash. I'm still a big fan of Johnny Cash. So he has a song called Delia's Gone. Some of you guys may know this song. I'm going to read some of the lyrics from the song, and then I'm going to conclude with a point. And here it goes. If I hadn't shot poor Delia, I'd have had her for my wife. And then the chorus goes, Delia's gone, one more round, Delia's gone. I went up to Memphis and I met Delia there, found her in her parlor, and I tied her to her chair. She was low down and trifling, she was cold and mean, kinda evil, make me wanna grab my submachine. First time I shot her in the side. Hard to watch her suffer, but with the second shot she died. Delia's gone, one more time, Delia's gone. But jailer, 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 I can't sleep, 'cause all around my bedside I hear the patter of Delia's feet. So he's talking about murdering a potential lover, maybe probably a former lover, because he's talking about she's trifling, and then being incarcerated. And this is country. And this is an older song, by the way, which, by the way, if you have never listened to Johnny Cash, check out Johnny Cash. Kind of a good entry song, I guess, to Johnny Cash, or it's just a great song anyway. And you don't have to be a fan of country. It's a beautiful song. It's his cover of Hurt, which was originally 9 Inch Nails. Anyway, it's a beautiful song. Watch the video. It's a beautiful video. Anyway, going off on a tangent. That's country, because whatever your experience is, it's telling a story. It's a subversive narrative. I keep using that word, subversive. The means in which you do that is going to be reflective of your background. So if you grew up with country, you're going to do it through country. If you grew up with rock, you're going to do it with rock. If you grew up with rap, you're going to do it with rap. But all of these forms of music have that. They all have pathos and angst and anger and fantasy, which may be violent, may be pleasant. I mean, Johnny Cash also has plenty of songs where he's talking about his relationship with God. He was a Christian. He has songs where he's singing about love. And just like with hip hop, you have songs where they're talking about love. You have songs where they're talking about God. But what Tatum is doing is like I said, he's not really addressing black people. Because black people, I can't say collectively black people, but it's like, look, we know what he's saying is I wasn't going to use the coarse language I already have, but there's no other way to say it. We know it's bullshit. And we know that he is basically catering to, and I am not going to say a white audience, but I'm going to say a conservative white audience that will look at all things of other cultures as being less than or toxic or problematic. And he's doing a form of virtue signaling. So if you were the angsty white kid in the 1990s, you may listen to Nirvana, right? And you would listen to Lithium, and you would listen to maybe Polly. These are songs by Nirvana. And Lithium wouldn't make you manic depressive. Polly wouldn't make you kidnap someone and assault them. And Rape Me wouldn't make you rape anyone. But apparently with rap, if we're led to believe what, Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum believes it would. Anyway,